Morning, everybody. This is episode 6 of Latte with Lynda, and in today's episode, just one incident, and also, as I work through my shadow, I am owning my greed. So, yesterday, I thought I was on for about 5 minutes, and then when I tried to download it, 35 minutes. That is outrageous. 35 minutes talking about who knows what. So here we are. Latte with Lynda. Welcome. Stick around because I am talking about incidents, accidents, and owning my shadow. Actually, no accidents, no broken glass today, so that was all good. But the incident, I like to, normally Angela pops in. I know she's been shimmying at carnivals and all kinds of things in preparation for the new school year, when those little people are going to be educated by her, and she's going to help them through this wonderful transformation. So yesterday I opted for, so I got in the queue for the barbecue, as I do. If you've been following this feed, these lives, then you will know there's always something going on with the barbecue, and I mean it gives new meaning to the word queue. Anyway, I got in the queue yesterday, and it wasn't that busy. The option was sardines, and a guy kind of took one look. In fact, he's just over there. It's so funny. He's just over there under his sunbed, and he's let's see, Indian heritage, because he was telling me all about how he likes his food seasoned, and he said, "Oh no, I don't want that." Anyway, I took 2 pieces of sardines. Everybody was really kind of very polite in the queue, and there wasn't the same amount of interest for the sardines. Anyway, got all my other bits, and in fact I didn't have much food yesterday. That's a lie in itself, because I'm going to tell you about greed. And I got my sardines. And firstly, what is it about people not scaling sardines? What is it? I mean, hello. There's a little boy there. He's terrified of me. I have no idea why. I don't know why I could possibly be so frightening, but he is absolutely terrified. And his ball just went past me. Anyway, he's got it because he's got another friend with him, and he's safe, and he's good, and he's gone. So what is it about scales and sardines and fish? I scale my fish. So that was the first thing. There was a Rocky Horror Show on the inside because these sardines had not been gutted. I know. Rocky Horror Show. So by the time I'd scaled it and removed the innards, I mean, what happened was, this is not, if you're eating your breakfast, I do apologise, but I kind of munched after I'd done the scaling, and then I thought, to spit it out. Yeah, so that wasn't very nice. Anyway, so although I had 2 sardines, they weren't very big, and by the time I'd scaled and removed everything and gutted, there was very little left. But the chips were really nice. I went back for a second portion of chips, and had my usual salad and things. Greed. This is what I really want to talk about. This week I am reading The Dark Side of the Light Chasers by Debbie Ford. And this is all about your shadow side. Because when you are working on your self-love, it is absolutely critical that you are not just looking at the nice bits and the shiny bits and the lovely bits. You've also got to dig deep and really find that shadow and that dark side and that side of you that you are repressing. Now, the interesting thing is that those dark bits can be alchemized, and you can see the beauty in them, the gift in them, but because there's often a lot of creativity and difference and individuality in there, which people suppress. So in the book, one of the words that came up was greedy, and I thought, well, I don't like greedy people. So that's your trigger. When you say something like that, I don't like that person because, or I don't like those kinds of people, then you know that is something in you that gets to be explored and integrated. And also, one of the questions in the book at the very start is, she says, what is the biggest lie you've told to yourself or other people? And I thought, I don't lie. Anyway, the business with the greed. And for example, saying to myself, oh, I didn't have much to eat yesterday. I had an awful lot to eat, and I've had an awful lot to eat, and I eat a lot. So that's a lie in itself. I don't know why I'm lying to myself about that. Anyway, coming back to the greed. I've lost my train of thought. Yes, so it's about when you see something, a trait in somebody that triggers you, you are repelled. Often, not always. I can talk about the magnetic, the attractive bit in a minute. It's an indication that is a part of you that you are suppressing, and it's time to work on that and integrate it and see the beauty in it. I mean, I'm trying to work out what the beauty might be in being greedy, and how to flip that really. Yeah, too much food on my plate. Yeah, that was it last night. So last night they had in my dining room, I invited 1 or 2 people. But you know it is, word gets out and 300 people turn up, 400, it's packed. There's not a seat in the room, they run out of plates and glasses and everything, the usual, when you invite 1 or 2 people round. And it was Moroccan, and it was very nice. Unfortunately, the dishes that I chose were not my kind of thing. They were very, very sugary. There was this lovely mincemeat, and I said, what's that? And he said, it's chicken, and it was in a beautiful phyllo pastry, and I thought, oh yeah. Anyway, I didn't pay attention to the white dusting on the pastry. I just assumed it was flour. Anyway, when I took a mouthful, it was, I mean, if the inside had been I don't know, something sweet, apple or whatever, fruit, it would have been fine. But the fact was, it was chicken on the inside, and even that was sweet. It was really, really sweet, and yeah, I couldn't eat it. And the other thing I opted for was, which would have been nice if I'd had a dish that was really, really plain, was onions, which had been caramelised with grapes or raisins or sultanas, and that would have been delicious with the right food, but I made the wrong choices, that was it. And that was really greedy, because I was not able to eat a great deal. I think I ate some potatoes. Actually, I don't know if no, I didn't have potatoes. It was a nice little bit of bread that had been flaked, chapati-ish it was, if you know what I mean. So really nice. So I ate very, very little, a little bit of meat and a little bit of the bread. So that was my greed. Now I get to work on how to alchemize that aspect of me, that greedy aspect of me, where my eyes are too big for my belly, and recognise I know how I do it. It's about acceptance that there is actually an abundance, and that greed comes from a place of scarcity. So that's what I work on. So yeah, that is it. What else can I talk about today? Trying to think if there have been any more incidents really. That little boy. Just looking over my shoulder so they can't hear me. He was sick yesterday. Thank God he came out of the pool. When I say little, I mean he's literally probably about 18 months, 2 years old. Maybe 3. 2 years old. But he's walking on his own. He's doing his own thing. So yeah. So I'm going to whisper, just so his parents don't hear. He vomited. Yeah. And then, I'm not even going to tell you the rest of the story about how his dad cleaned it up, because I will get banned. I will get banned from Instagram, and I'm only just coming into my own Instagram. So please, let me be. Let me say my things. So yesterday was the final day of my 369 empowerment affirmation challenge in my Facebook group. So I have a Facebook group related to my podcast, Talking to Yourself is Grossly Underrated. And it was the end of the challenge. And the idea is it's all about what's going on in your head, because talking to yourself is grossly underrated. And even in this book, The Dark Side of the Shadow, The Light Chasers by Debbie Ford, she talks about how you embrace your subconscious. She calls them something else. Can't remember. Anyway, it basically is the voices in your head, the characters, the aspects of your personality. You embrace them, have the conversation with them, talk to yourself. And she suggests the meditation, and it's really great. I mean, I'm going to try it. I tried it this morning, but I got a bit distracted. And you close your eyes, you do your inhales and your exhales, 5 big breaths, 5 breaths in, inhale for 5, hold it for 5 or longer. You want to hold it for longer, then exhale for as long as you can. So you do 5 rounds of that. Then you find your stillness. You might put on some nice music, and you do a little bit of breathing, and you're obviously going to breathe. So I'm being attacked today. Ooh, almost through my cake at a wasp or a bee or whatever it is. That is not a good idea. So you do your breathing, you settle yourself, you ground yourself, and then you imagine that you get onto a bus. On the bus is packed. Every single place at the bus. Morning, Samantha. I'm just talking about shadow self and how to embrace the different parts of your personality. So you get on the bus, and the bus is packed, and it's full of people. All races, all creeds, all shapes and sizes and ages and everything. There is an entire mix on this bus, and it's packed. And every single person on this bus is an aspect of your personality. And the driver stops the bus, and he says, he gets you to choose one of them. Whichever one comes out and jumps out to you, the strongest, that is the one that you get to have the conversation with. And in this conversation, you just want to know, what is it? What is your gift to me? First of all, you give them a name. So I had one today. What's she called? She was called I can't even remember now. Anyway, my character was just about somebody who's really, really messy. And it got a bit confused, and actually she told me that I needed to speak to other people. So it was really helpful. Anyway, so you have this conversation with that aspect of yourself as you get to understand what it is, what is the beauty of that aspect of yourself. So I think I mentioned it yesterday. So you might go for arrogant Alfred, for example. And so you imagine what arrogant Alfred looks like, how he behaves, hair colour, everything, right down to the detail. What does he smell like? Everything. You get a really good sense of him, and then you have that conversation. So Alfred, what's your problem? You might say. You might want to speak more politely to yourself. And then Alfred might say, well, actually, I'm not the problem, you are. I actually do a really good job, and I have helped you. And then Alfred might tell you the instances where being arrogant in your life have helped you. It may be that you've needed to step forward. You need to stand in your power and show your light. And so that arrogance has been necessary. So you get to understand what the benefits are of that part of your personality. And then you ask, so I would ask Alfred, okay, arrogant Alfred, what do you want from me? And Alfred may say, Lynda, I want you to acknowledge me. I want you to acknowledge how I have helped you to get to the place that you are today. And so you do that with all. So this can go on a long time. So it can be a daily thing, a nightly thing, however you want to do it, and you go through as you work on integrating your shadow self. Because the more of you that you can reveal and accept, the happier you are going to be. You're going to be a much better person for that. So, so that's the next exercise in the book. And you can take all of those things from the list that I mentioned yesterday. So you, in the book, there's a list of words, hundreds of them. I managed somehow to write down 72 of those words as saying they affected me, but I'm not sure. I think I was a bit overzealous. And so you go through those words, and you could even turn those into characters and have those conversations. How might I be that person so greedy? And if you don't believe you have been, how may I have been in the past? Maybe when you were a child. How under different circumstances may I have been. So you work out a way where you can possibly be that person, that character. It's very, very good. It's very deep. But as I said, self-love is not just about liking the nice bits. You really, really, really have to embrace those bits that you are currently concealing. And you may start to understand, for example, when you see somebody who triggers you, you get to say, right, okay, that person's triggered me. Why? What is it about them that actually is a part of me that is bothering me? And so you can explore that. You get to, as you start to embrace yourself, so self-love is all about loving all of you. Once you do that, you're going to develop, you're going to feel much more authentic. You're going to be your true authentic self, because this is what you're striving towards. And there's so much beauty in authenticity. Being your true self. When people see that, it gives them permission to be their own true self as well. Hello, Mesho. Put your name in the chat. Lovely to see you. And you can DM me. So other people see you and they see your authenticity, and it gives them permission to give themselves permission to be authentic as well. When you are your true authentic self, you are empowered. You're empowered to be you. That means you let go of your own expectations and your projections, those kind of perceptions of what you think other people think you should be. You let go of all of that, so that doesn't matter. And as I say every single day, you have your mantra. It's none of my business what other people think about me. Say that to yourself, because the more you say it, the more you're going to start to believe it, the more you're going to be able to start to let go. Right, Soul Tribe, time for me to go. I'm keeping this one brief. I see you, I hear you, I feel you, I get you, I've got you, I love you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.